for this option, this is a new addition to this textbook that I really like, and I have talked to a handful of my nurse and doctor friends, and this is a growing concern, and it's something that's, I think, very interesting, and I'm excited to add it to the class list. So basically what this one is talking about is we have come so far with our reproductive technology that we can start to use those that science to make money. So what this section specifically in reproductive technology, we're going back, I have a section documented for you, overpopulation and the allocation of resources. So I have asked a couple of my doctor friends and nurses friends, like, hey, this is new of the whole chapter, what's something that you want the students to focus on? And they said, hey, this is a really good one because this is one that we deal with all of the time. So here, in an overpopulated world in which there are so many children who cannot be properly fed or cared for, there is something incredulous about using the ingenuity of modern medicine to create more children. So this is what this growing concern is talking about, and I've documented a few readings that kind of tap into that, and you're just going to basically kind of do a case analysis of this, spend 3 or 4 paragraphs talking about what you found in your analysis. So for this situation, in a world where we have so many people and our foster system is overflowing, we have so many kids who need help and support, is it unethical to use artificial insemination and IVF to bring more kids into the world? Is it something that should be addressed? And if we live in a world where food scarcity is becoming a problem more and more, we only have a limited amount of resources. Is it ethical to contribute to this situation? So now what my friends were saying was, as a doctor and a nurse, you have families who come in who want IVF, who have a sincere, passionate need and want to have a child, and perhaps they can't reproduce on their own. It's highly sensitive, it's very emotional, and just to have a child of their own is deeply emotional and spiritual for them. And so to deny them that, knowing that I have the technology to do that, do I not have a duty to help this couple? But they're like, but we can't help but think in the back of our mind, I also have a duty to everybody else, especially the, hundreds of thousands of children who go hungry every day, who don't have homes. I have to care for their well-being as well. Why can't I just pluck one up here and put it over here? So this is the dilemma that is coming up more and more. Another one of the readings that they point out right here is egg donation. Is becoming a thing where you could sell your eggs or your sperm for money, and you're making a lot of money off of this. So you're basically using your natural talents here to be a financial way of living. But in essence, you too are adding to an overpopulation problem globally. Now, I have heard arguments, they'll say, people will be like, hey, but, the population's on a decline. We're not going to have enough workers in 25 years, and which is valid, but that doesn't help the situation presently, is what the doctors and nurses that I talk to kind of come back with. So they say it's kind of a murky topic. It's so fresh and so new. It's only been in the last decade that we have been able to streamline the reproductive technology, and they're getting better at it every single day. They're getting better, they're getting faster, and it's getting less expensive, comparatively speaking to what it was decades ago. It's still very, very expensive process. It's tens of thousands of dollars every time a couple tries to do this. But on the flip side, if you are the one who is offering your eggs or sperm for donation, you could make a lot of money off of it. And that's another one that they were talking about, was a couple comes in and spends tens of thousands of dollars per try. They could spend upwards $30, $40, $50,000 before they even have a child enter the home. So on one side, you have a couple who is spending their life savings to have a child. You have someone who is selling their eggs and sperms, benefiting and profiting from the emotional distress of said couple. But you also have organizations and homes that are in desperate need of care, support, and money. And they could have used those tens of thousands of dollars. So it's complicated and it's very gray. So this one, that's why I made this one a case study, not just a typical discussion board. It gives you a chance to kind of look at this in its different layers. So again, do some research. What are the key problems with the allocation of resources, the selling of eggs? So what are some of the key issues of IVF existing in a world where we have so many children in need of homes? So explore what that is. And once you have that information, start placing it like a puzzle on your table. What are, the evidence for it, evidence against it? What's your recommendation going forward? If you were sitting on the board of health and it's up to you to decide what happens to those kids, what happens to those people selling their stuff, and what happens to that couple who would like to have a child of their own, what would your recommendations be? So, good luck, and let me know if you need any help.